Welcome back. Reuters has this. U.S. officials say the Trump administration can use the military to go after Latin American drug gangs that have been designated as global terrorist organizations and has quietly ordered the Pentagon to prepare options for it. The order, signed by Trump, reportedly provides an official basis for direct military operations at sea and on foreign soil against cartels. This would likely mean in the Gulf of Mexico and potentially within Mexico itself. There's other South American countries that might be worth eyeballing as well. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum saying yesterday, flat out, I'll read one of her quotes. She's rejecting this idea plainly. She says, the United States is not going to come to Mexico with the military. We cooperate, we collaborate, but there is not going to be an invasion. That is ruled out, absolutely ruled out, she was quoted as saying yesterday. Hal Kempfer is still here, standing by. Hal, what are the chances of the U.S. performing military operations in Mexico?
Well, it's always a possibility, but I got to tell you, Austin, the problems with that are legion, and the lawyers would look at this, go, "Oh my gosh!" One of the problems is that obviously you're talking with sovereign territory. This is another sovereign country. It's Mexico, and the president of Mexico has made it very clear: no, U.S. troops are not welcome. Now, what I will tell you is that over the decades in the war on drugs, we have worked very closely with our Mexican counterparts. There are U.S. law enforcement that are permanently stationed down in Mexico working with their Mexican counterparts. We've done a lot of stuff with intelligence sharing. We've done a lot of stuff with, cooperation, coordination of planning, going after various drug cartels and drug cartel kingpins. We've had a lot of cooperation working with them on the border to make the border a lot more secure. So there's been a lot of cooperation across the board. But if you talk about doing something where you're sending troops down there on special operations, well, you're starting to kind of hint at something that sounds like when we went after Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. Pakistan, an ally, if you will, a country we work with, but we didn't tell them that we were going in there to take out Osama bin Laden. And of course, the fear was that if we said that, the intelligence would get to bin Laden and he'd get moved and nothing would have happened. And that's part of the issue that we have in Mexico. That look, President Sheinbaum would, which you would be first to admit that there's a lot of corruption within the Mexican government. The cartels have a lot of money to buy things. They also have a kind of a policy, which is either you work with us or they'll go after they'll not go after just the officials. They'll go after their families as well. So it's a very coercive thing. So they have their tentacles in a lot of places. And intelligence, one of the easier things that they can share. And so that is one of the reasons that we get frustrated sometimes. And there certainly is a desire to do things more autonomously, particularly when we know that there's a target, a kingpin, if you will, that we could go on and get. We have the means to get it. It's just the legal parameters by which it is. So there's a temptation to do something. And that's what you're saying. By the way, it isn't just Mexico. All right. There are drug cartels throughout Central and South America. You will find them in various Central American countries. Venezuela is a kind of a narco state anymore. So the way this was framed, it kind of opened up. Certainly Venezuela was one of my thoughts.